New on Curiosity Stream. She was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
what if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes, Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey, Ola, it's Miles. Thank you guys for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast.
Have you heard our newest podcast? It's called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Download it today on radio.com. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every Tuesday at noon.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 16, Episode number 3503. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, 3-Tit Smith, and Mike Hawk. And 2 are the Men's Room. On tap today, Ryan Castle joins us, and once again we will sit and spin now. And as we get back to live music today, the 10 music moments that people wish that they could have seen live. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, the Men's Room Shout of the Day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Tim.
Clack, clack, drink it to draw.
All right, here we go. Alabama teacher who claimed it was her right to have sex with 2 students finds a brand new home in jail. Meanwhile, an Austrian man sits down to do his constitutional duty and now has quite the tale. 2 Florida men get hammered before hammering each other naked in a park. A cop caught in a prostitution sting whips out his penis and says his name is Clark. An Atlanta woman wakes up to a large African cat in her bed. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, don't you hate it when you sit on the toilet in the morning and your neighbor's escaped python pops out of the water and bites your genitals? I mean, it's never happened to me, but it happened to a 65-year-old man in Austria. Now, the good news is he only suffered minor injuries, but all he wanted to do was poop. Meanwhile, in Iraq, a chef was preparing a vat of soup for a wedding reception, and somehow he fell into the boiling soup. He had third-degree burns over 70% of his body, and he died 5 days later at the hospital. Again, he's making soup. But like the guy who was bitten by the snake on the toilet, the chef had no expectation of injury. They were just doing some routine stuff. I mean, look, a man in England, he's having sex, and he injured himself during the act. And he didn't kind of hurt himself. He is now officially the first person to have his penis broken vertically. That's very important to the story. Now, look, I will spare you the details of what that means, but guys, just know that it's bad. And when I say bad, it's like real bad. But that's how it goes. You just want to do something simple that you've done 1,000 times before, and then things go unexpectedly sideways. Now, sure, you can go to an amusement park, and you allow for the risk of danger, right? That's what gives you the adrenaline rush on roller coasters or the towers of terror. That's what makes them so fun. What you don't expect is to go to the amusement park and then end up pooping blood because you got dirty water in your mouth. unless you're at the Splash Park in Kansas this weekend, right? Nobody got injured because the water flume turned over, roller coaster got stuck, nothing like that. There's some poopy water got in their mouths. Next thing you know, they're pooping blood. And not just a few people. But that's what we want to talk about today, right? There are times where you know that the possibility of injuring yourself is right there. Hell, July 4th just went by. You had your homemade fireworks. Like, you understand the risk. But it's the stupid stuff. You just do something routine, and somehow you end up injured or you end up sick. And that's what we want to talk about today with the Men's Room fill-in-the-blank style question. Never thought I'd get hurt or sick doing blank.
Be part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
New on Curiosity Stream, he allows them their riches
Putin has to be the richest of the rich.
in exchange for their loyalty.
The oligarchs have supported someone for president that they underestimated.
The illicit affair between Russia's elite and the man who rules them on Putin and the oligarchs. And World War II Normandy, an obscure battle training session takes a tragic turn. Uncover the one secret military catastrophe on the secret D-Day disaster. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
Hey, all of it, thank you so much for listening to the Men's Room podcast.
And thanks to our pals at the Advocates Law Firm for being great partners. Yes, even you, creepy Kyle.
Seriously, though, if you'd been injured as a result of somebody else in your car, on your bike, walking across the street, talk to our friends at the Advocates Law Firm and let them help you out.
Yeah, they're the best injury lawyers around, and they want to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Plus, your first consultation is free.
It's simple. You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Over Charles, and away we go. Welcome to Season 16, Episode number 3503. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Once again, Ryan Castle will join us, and we will sit and spin. Today we get back into the feel of live music. Ooh. Yeah, you're hearing the commercials down on the radio. Guess who's coming? Friday night. That means live music is back. That's exciting stuff. Great shows coming to our area as well. But today we'll go back with 10 music moments that people wish they could have seen live. Now, you probably have some of these yourself where you thought to yourself, man, I had a ticket to that show, or I could have gone to this place, or whatever the deal is. And sure would have been nice to see that band last time around because they broke up after I...
Or died, Tom Petty.
Tom Petty, right? Would have been nice to see him at the Gorge. Came every year.
I'll see him next time around. That was my exact quote.
Yes.
Then he died. It's like I was wrong about that statement.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you saw Soundgarden or Temple of the Dog at Paramount, I mean, those were great shows. And that's basically it. If you miss those shows, you know what I mean? You're not going to get a chance to see a lot of these bands anymore. But these are iconic shows that have happened throughout the year. Some of them go back to the 60s.
Of course.
The 70s. And they are just live performances where if you could, you go back in time and check this out. You know what I mean? To be one of those shows like, say, Zeppelin in Madison Square Garden when they recorded The Song Remains the Same. One of the great, I think, concert films
but also, wouldn't you want to see some of the infamous mess-ups, right? So Milli Vanilli back in the day, to be at the show where their CD player skips and you realize these guys have they're not just lip syncing. They've never sang any of the songs that they were there.
And matter of fact, that guy just passed on. So, you know, they did lip sync those songs, but there was a real band and real performers that actually played those.
Name them.
And those songs, the guy just passed away, whatever his name is. And that's the point that's the point I'm trying to make. We don't know who they are. We know Milli Vanilli. Milli Vanilli. They didn't, you know, we know Rob and Fab. Was that the guy?
I don't remember.
Something like that.
Either way, they won a Grammy for Best New Artist, but really
Which is insane. They won a Grammy for something they did not perform. So at least, but no one knew, but they played the show wherever they were. And the CD player skipped. And I mean, you had a crowd of probably 20,000 people going, wait a minute. They're not singing anything.
But the real guy who did it, he's got to be thinking to himself, like, look, okay, I know they put the face of the music with these two, but this was my song. These were mine. Yeah.
I
still should be New Artist of the Year, right? Nope. I guess not. Either way.
Blame it on the rain.
We've got 10 music moments people wish they could have seen live coming up as we'll sit and spit with Ryan Castle. And today we're going to talk about injuries, getting sick in weird ways, getting hurt, and our question, I never thought I would get hurt or sick doing blank. And we start with a story that comes from us from Austria. Not Australia, Austria. A man in Austria was bitten by a 5.5-foot python during an early morning visit to the toilet at his home. The snake, which apparently escaped from a neighbor's apartment, may have slithered through the drains and was then, in fact, cleaned and handed back to the owner. 65-year-old victim said he felt a nip in the genital area shortly after sitting on the toilet at his home just after 6 o'clock. According to a statement from police, he then looked into the toilet and discovered the albino reticulated python. Snake apparently had escaped unnoticed from the apartment of the 24-year-old neighbor next door. It wasn't immediately possible to figure out how it escaped, how it got into the toilet. Police think it made its way through the drains.
You don't say.
A reptile expert was called to retrieve the snake, which was then returned to its owner. Police said the younger man kept 11 non-venomous constrictor snakes and a gecko in his apartment, and terrariums, drawers. He faces an investigation of suspicion of causing bodily harm by negligence.
Drawers?
The victim sustained only minor injuries, yes.
I mean, it's a snake. Like, you got to have that thing in a cage. Like, they can get out of stuff.
We know.
A drawer.
Mm-hmm. Well, when they buy them at those, buying exotic animal things that they have in Ohio and Pennsylvania and everywhere else, they're in Tupperware containers. They bring in the world's most dangerous animal. And they got it like you'd put your Christmas decorations in, or, you pack stuff up that you're trying to stow away.
I'm okay with that, though. They have locking lids. I know that's not Tupperware's goal, but how? Okay, so I have a super venomous blah cobra, right? Mm-hmm. It's 18 feet long. You're going to buy it for. Is there something better than a Tupperware container? I'm just thinking off the top of my head. To me, that might be the best way to give it to me.
Right. Now we move on to a story that actually, Steve, I can't remember if it was a shot of the day or what it was, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. The debut of the slip and slide themed NBC game show is now in limbo thanks to a very tiny menace with a big impact. Per People magazine, explosive diarrhea on the set of Ultimate Slip and Slide delayed the show's debut, which was originally set to open up as a follow-up to the Tokyo Summer Games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. They were going to run this, I believe, after the Olympics. Yeah. Like, hey, we have, common person Olympics, if you will.
The culprit is a microscopic parasite that, when consumed, causes severe gastrointestinal upsetness. Reports back in June, 40 crew members fell violently ill during taping. Tests of the water in the park came back negative for the germ, but further tests showed that this parasite was in the surrounding area. So production was halted indefinitely, with only 1 week left of taping. Both hosts, Bobby Moynihan and Ron Funches, were reportedly fine. Health and safety to everyone on our set is number one priority, NBC said in a statement. No new data or date has been announced as far as the premiere, nor has NBC commented on its intention to complete production of the show.
So isn't that important? I mean, let it go, man. It's a slip and slide show. No one cared about it. No one's even excited about it now. But you get people, and at the time that we covered the story, they kept calling it explosive diarrhea.
Right. Explosive.
Yep. They never said diarrhea. They quoted diarrhea 6 times in the story, but it was always preceded by explosive, which tells you exactly how bad it was.
I don't know about you guys.
But, does it have to do with the slip and slides themselves? Or is it they all drank the same thing?
They believe that it was in the water where the slip and slides were set up, right? So not just in pools, but even when they hosed down these slip and slides, they realized it was in the pipes, everything. So as contestants are sliding down the slip and slide with their mouth open screaming, they're getting all this stuff in them. And then in a couple hours, they're in a dead sprint for the bathroom.
Did you guys see the GIF from the CDC on pooping in pools over the weekend?
I read something to the effect of try not to.
Yeah, I don't know how people pronounce that thing. I know it's supposed to be GIF, but I say GIF because it was originally supposed to be GIF. So who the hell?
But everyone said.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't think. All right, GIF makes me think about peanut butter.
It's like Baby Yoda.
That's exactly right.
You can tell it's Baby Yoda's name. You know who he is? He's Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm. Just make sure you call him a meme.
They had this little girl going down the slide. There's this brown streak that's accompanying her in this thing. So people are having a field day all weekend long on this. But we have been.
But what are the things they're telling? Like, don't poop.
Don't poop in the pool. And if you do
no.
poop in the pool, you got to shoot. You got to shut the thing down.
Well, everybody knows don't poop in there, but I think people freely pee in there.
I always pee in there, but I would not look. And I openly admit that I pee in the pool. I don't care because I know you are too, no matter what you say. But I'm not going to poop in your pool.
Right. And we've been talking about Action Park seems to have come up lately.
Yeah.
A lot of different conversations, either on the air or off the air for me. We now go to Kansas, where the Kansas Department of Health and Environment further explained the origin and symptoms from a bacteria connected with at least 3 cases of people who became violently ill after visiting the, good
luck. Have fun with that.
Tanganyika Falls Splash Park.
I didn't know it was in the States. I kept trying to read this.
Tanganyika, man.
Yeah.
Tanganyika? I'm sure somebody's going to call in from Missouri area or Kansas area and know exactly what this is. The bacteria, Shigella, is spread from person to person through contaminated stool. Now, the main symptom is diarrhea and bloody diarrhea. Eyewitness News there spoke with a pediatrician who said there is really no medicine you can take, but the symptoms, they should go away in a week. If not, he recommends they come back. Yeah. They also spoke with the director of Parks and Recreation for the city of Wichita, who emphasized the importance of making sure your child is not sick if you're planning to go to a pool or splash pad. The investigation into the cases connected with the park happened after some people started experiencing the diarrhea and fatigue after visiting the park's splash park. They announced a link to this disease and to illnesses to people who visited that park and said, hey, if you were there during this period and this period, there's a chance you could get sick. It really likes to eat away at the walls inside of the intestines. It causes cramping, it causes fever, it causes diarrhea, and the diarrhea can be pretty bloody looking. Wichita Parks and Recreation Director discussed the bigger issue and what staff at the public pools and splash pads need to do if a child has, quote, an accident. And that's where most of these cases are coming from. A child.
They always blame the kids, man. Look, hey, elderly folks, we didn't forget about you either.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the difference.
Yeah.
And this is
looking at you, Grandma.
Honestly, what are the 2 groups of people that routinely wear diapers, right? Because they just don't have the control. It is typically young children, right, and old people. So if Meemaw is in that splash park, to me, she's just as much a suspect as 3-year-old Eddie over there, right?
Well, yeah, I didn't realize that if you have diarrhea, there's a lot more bacteria in your stool.
Sure.
And that's why you have diarrhea.
Right, you're already going through a bad thing. Your body's expelling it.
Exactly. So basically what they said is this, and this is kind of like a Caddyshack thing here, but it says a solid piece of defecation. What we'll do is obviously scoop it out and take it out of the water. We'll clear out the area, add some more chlorine, so we have plenty of chlorine in the water. We'll clear the pool then for 15, 20 minutes, then game back. We'll let people right back in right after that. So
Do you tell people
if it's a solid one, they scoop it,
so wait,
you're
Mike,
good after about 15, 20
and your
minutes.
lifeguard days, right? So you got to scoop a turd out of the pool, and obviously it's not diarrhea, it's a turd. Do you tell people, hey, we scooped a turd out of the pool, so give us 15, 20 minutes to rechlorinate, or do you come up with an entirely different...
Usually we just told people to just get out of the pool. Like, everybody kind of knew what was up, and a handful of people did leave, but... Honestly, 15, 20 minutes, you let the people that are going to stay back in, and then everybody else just starts flooding back in again.
Question number 2. Do you scoop the turd out before you kick them out, or ask everyone to leave and then scoop it out? Hopefully no one's looking.
It's kind of simultaneous. You usually got one person walking out with a net, and a lot of people kind of excuse themselves. But
you caused a distraction. I'm going to scoop the turd.
But the whole idea of swimmy diapers blows my mind because it's a pull-up, right? Mm-hmm. It is a swimmy diaper, which means it's just like the pull-up you put the kid in anyway.
Yeah, but you call it swimmy.
It's more colorful. It's got, you know what I mean? They make it blue and red and all these things. But the bottom line is, it just gives the kid the green light to use the bathroom in the pool.
It does.
Because you have a diaper on you. And pull-ups are at that point in time in a child's life where they're kind of in between the stage of potty training and not potty training.
When you're potty trained, you wear underwear. If you're still wearing a pull-up, it's like you are potty in training.
Right. And that means normally if you're wearing a pull-up, look, you can use the bathroom, and you've done a pretty good job. You might have made a couple mistakes, but we're just going to make sure when you're sleeping overnight that you've got something on just in case you have an accident.
They wear them during the day, too, dog.
They do, depending on...
Night is forgivable. When you're still wearing the pull-up, it's like, I don't trust you during the goddamn afternoon hours to not slip on a few of these.
Now, the thing is that if it's a solid one, 15, 20 minutes, you scoop it out with a little net, then you throw it away. All right. But if a child in a pool or a splash pad has diarrhea, it's more concerning because that usually means the child is sick, may have a strong case of bacteria in the feces. Then what they'll do is they'll clear the pool, clean it as much as they can, add in a lot of chlorine. Then we make sure we give the chance for the chlorine to be able to kill the bacteria in there, all the other germs, and then after a few hours, they will attempt to see what the level is and to possibly reopen the pool. However, I love this. It's almost like being hungover as hell. Pedialyte is a great option. It's really balanced well with the sugar, salts, and fluids that you need when you're dehydrated. You can do a little bit of Tylenol or ibuprofen for the fever. If they're really uncomfortable, I would not give them anti-diarrhea medicine. It can make them severely ill, as far as the kids are concerned.
As Miles was reading through their what they do in case it is actually diarrhea.
Yes.
You're throwing up air quotes.
Yes.
And had a look on your face that called BS.
Yeah, I do.
So,
if it was doctors that were cleaning this thing out, if it was scientists that were cleaning this thing out to make sure that we're getting all the bacteria out, I'd believe it. This is a bunch of 16-year-olds that are getting paid minimum wage.
Right.
The reason why you're waiting that long is to let the brown clear out, and then you can get people back in here.
But also think about this. So, if you have diarrhea, more than likely, you are going to need to go up and tell the lifeguard that you've had an accident in the pool.
Right.
Okay? Because it kind of just blends, so to speak. So most of the time, the reason this happens is because you cannot really see the diarrhea after it kind of just goes throughout the pool a little bit.
Right.
So they don't know to shut the pool down. Because if you see a floating Baby Ruth or a Butterfinger, you know what you got. But if you don't see it, it's just in there, and then they don't always necessarily go in and shut the pool down.
I would make a bet that if they were told, like, hey, my kid had an accident, it's pretty loose, and nobody found anything, there is a back area in there where they pour a crap ton of chlorine or shock or something like that, just so they do actually spread some
Have you ever had an adult come up, though, and say, hey, I just crapped in your pool?
No. It would be somebody that would be admitting that their kid did. Like, I never had a problem with an adult.
Okay, we're all in the pool in Vegas, right?
Right.
We're all just hanging out, drinking some Bud Lights and metal cans or bottles or whatever they got, right? You slip on a fart.
Right.
Are you going to go up to the person in charge of the pool? You're going to shake it out, right? You're like, oh,
because
wow.
I'm also not going to
Maybe I need to go back to the room. And
but here's the difference. I think Miles makes this point. We're at a family pool. Even if Miles slips on a fart, like, dude, just blame my kid so that you're not humiliated, right? As an adult, you can say my kid did it because they're not going to say anything to the kid. One, we just tell the kids they have to go. This is a pool in Vegas.
This is an adult pool.
The only people in there are 21 and up. And even then, there's only 8 of us in the pool itself, maybe.
And when you go to Vegas, man, you're eating.
So
you're drinking.
Do you tell us? Yeah. Look, I'm definitely not telling the lifeguard that I slipped a little.
No.
And you can't see it. But I would at least tell you guys, like, hey, man, let's get out of the pool.
It's not that the food is bad in Vegas. The food is great. And you're gluttonous and you eat what you want and you're drunk and you're coming home and, you got White Castle hamburgers and you after eating Nobu for dinner. You know what I mean? Like but either way, your gut, your body is not right because you're drinking all day.
Sure.
You're up weird hours.
I mean, I think you got to be smart enough. Just don't risk it.
But sometimes you don't know. Sometimes getting in the water alerts you to other issues. You know what I mean? Just that less gravity thing, and you're like, ooh, my belly doesn't feel so good. But if in the time it takes you to say that, you slipped out a little ribbon. Like, if we don't know, are you telling anyone? Right,
if you don't know, then I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't say a word. I would just get out of the pool.
Okay, let me ask you this.
I would get out of the pool, go shower up, and be like, I'm at the bar.
Would you cop to it later if, now 2 days later, we get back to Seattle, right, and we just read that there's so-and-so pool at the so-and-so hotel in Vegas. And, like, it was you. You're the one to slip. I would at least admit that to you guys. Like, hey, guys, honest to God, that thing we just read about norovirus outbreak in that pool. Remember when I said, let's get out? That was me.
If I'm admitting it, I'm doing it then and there. Like, hey, guys, we should probably duck out of here. Yeah, I'm not doing it after the fact.
Like, I would tell you guys at the time. I would not tell the lifeguard or anyone else in the pool that I just slipped a little.
I mean, that's the other problem, though, is you got to get out of the pool hoping that one of us doesn't just go, what is the problem?
Why are we leaving? Why are we leaving?
I was having fun.
5 hot women just pulled up chairs with gigantic, huge fakies. You know what I mean? Why? We're in Vegas. You know what I mean? Why are we not? Why are we leaving?
I'm with you. That'd be the time I'd be like, what do you, Mike? What do you mean we're leaving?
All right. So if you slipped on it, would you just stay in the pool and not say anything?
No, I would leave.
You would,
but I wouldn't. I don't know that I would tell you guys.
So we just stew in it.
Sure. Okay. Hey, you were in there with the hotties, though.
I mean, they weren't in the pool yet. We were just waiting, and then right away we had to leave. I'm like, why are we leaving? Why don't we just hang out? I think I might fight through it. But
I mean, again, nothing has leaked into the pool. There is a small slip. I realize this. I'm going to run to the bathroom, try to clean up.
You don't even need to run to the bathroom. Just
clean up because you're in the water.
Yeah, you quick shake out, man. I mean, it's not like you don't need to wipe. You're in the water.
Right,
it's not. We can't see it. It's diarrhea. I mean, you slipped on a fart.
Right.
I think you could see it in the pool, though.
But if we couldn't, you wouldn't tell us. You would not tell us.
In that cloudy-ass clothes.
Wow, man.
Maybe on the plane home.
I mean, I would at least tell you guys at the time. Like, look, I pee in the pool all the time. Got no problem. But if I'm like, guys, I think I just brown capped the water. Let's be cool about it, but let's get out of the pool.
But that's the other issue. I don't see everybody being cool about it.
Oh, Ted pooped in the pool.
Right?
You think they're going to give? You think they're going to give you drinks on a plane? There's like 4 dudes in a row that all have styes. Like one eye's half closed. Like what in the hell are they doing?
Like get your ass kicked.
Exactly.
What strip club did you four go to?
What is
That's
happening?
nothing like that, dude. Ted pooped in the pool.
Yeah.
I slipped.
Do you mind if I ask where you were staying?
Yeah.
I never thought I would get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-421-ROCK.
New on Curiosity Stream, she was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
What if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes, Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
Well, great balls of fire, Bubba. What happened, Buford? That crazy son of a Sal blew right through that four-way stop on Main Street and plowed into my cowboy Cadillac.
Your what?
My pickup truck. And I'm pretty sure my leg is broken, Ted. Oh, quit your bitching, Buford, and talk with those side busters at the Advocates Law Firm. When I got busted up last month, well, shoot, they made sure those snakes at the insurance company played fair.
Boy, howdy. Even that creepy so-and-so Kyle earned his keep.
So if you get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
99.9 KISW. You're in the men's room.
Men's room blank question. I never thought I would get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-421-ROCK.
We were discussing a hypothetical in the pools of Las Vegas, right? Mm-hmm. One of us, and we always pee in the pool, but one of us poops in the pool. It's untraceable. Would we warn people, et cetera, et cetera. So someone here says, I've been to Vegas pools 3 separate times when the pool was evacuated. Twice for vomit, once for a turd. The puke doesn't surprise me.
No, not
like in Vegas.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. Someone else says, I'm a lifeguard for 15 plus years. I had 4 code browns in one day.
Ooh.
But they add the pools must filter at least 80% of the water every 6 hours.
Do you get punched in the throat?
Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
So how did you hurt yourself?
Okay.
First one happened when I was 5 or 6. I'm vacuuming my bedroom. My mom's putting laundry away in my dresser. And somehow, some way, I come out of the area. I'm vacuuming and clip the corner of the dresser drawer. Pull it out of the dresser. Lands right on my feet. Right on the toes.
Wait, you knocked the dresser over?
No. Pulled the dresser drawer out.
Okay.
Yeah. Crushed my big toe. Started bleeding. Second story, 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. I used to go gold panning up in Granite Falls. I had these little glass vials I'd keep the gold pieces in. And I guess an empty one fell onto the floor. Come off the bed, go to the bathroom. I step right on it. Glass shard goes right up into my heel. Cuts it right open. About an inch and a half.
Good times.
Is that a hospital visit, or you just pull it out and deal with it?
It was a hospital visit. Yeah, it wasn't something I could just ice and elevate.
You know,
the hospital visit was worse than stepping on the glass vial for sure.
Why is that?
So they had to clean out a little shard that got stuck in my foot, and the way they did that, they had to use like a squeeze bottle with a very fine end to get into the cut. And just getting up in there with all that raw nerve ending was just unpleasant.
Did you find any gold that day?
No, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Steve, you said that your son became trapped underneath his dresser, right?
It wasn't entirely trapped. It was an IKEA dresser. And I think So it was a little top heavy. I don't remember if he was opening a drawer or if he was grabbing something off at the top. But either way, he kind of calls from his room. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but the image is still in my head. It looked like Atlas holding up the planet, right? So, but he's like 3 or 4. But when whatever it is he was doing, the thing tipped over a little bit, but the problem was all of the drawers came out. So as he went to catch the dresser from falling over, he did that, but the drawers still go forward. So he got smashed in the forehead, the face, the chest. I'm pretty sure he got hit in the nuts as well. But like he's still holding the side. But all the drawers are out, and like I kind of chuckled. I knew he was okay because he's still standing there holding it up with all of his strength. But I was like, we need to get rid of this.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, I did the exact same thing as a kid. Here was a scenario on this one, and I messed up my forehead and cut it wide open. I had to go to the emergency room, all that crap. But my mom, she had this. It was like. We had this kind of a rotation on televisions, all right? So the oldest TV that we had was a black and white television that my mom put in the corner of the kitchen so that when she was doing stuff in the kitchen, if she wanted, watch her soaps. She can watch her shows, whatever that deal was.
We did the same thing.
She got an upgrade, all right? So she got a color television. Never forget. RCA television. It was really, really nice. Man, did I want that television in my room. What I got was the black and white television. So I put that in my room, and the dresser that I used to have at the time, same one that I used with my kids. I kept the dresser, but the dresser that I had at the time, I put all of my books in the top drawer. All right. Also put my clothes in there, but there was just a lot of heavy stuff. Don't put
it up top, man.
Not really doing the math on this, but I have all the things that are important to me that are not clothes in the top drawer. So anything I'm saving or hiding or whatever, top drawer. But the drawer was heavy. So I have this TV for one day. One day. The TV, the black and white, it's like a tube TV. It goes on top of the
How much does that thing weigh?
A lot.
Right.
And it was one of those where if you put the TV too close to the wall, it would make the marks.
Yeah, it would leave a burn mark.
Because it was hot. You know what I mean? It was just one of those old school. This is how old I am. Anyway, so I opened the top drawer and the whole thing comes down. Now, the fortunate part about it was that the top drawer itself basically opened up to the point where it kind of knocked me off to the side. Now, the entire dresser fell on me. The TV itself, when it fell, it hit that drawer where the drawer it still didn't close all the way when it hit the ground.
Right.
And it shattered. I mean, the screen on the TV broke, which I didn't even know that was even possible. It's pretty thick glass on a television. And then the whole thing basically just poofed in an explosion because there were tubes in there. So those tubes, and it was plugged in. You know, the TV was also plugged and stayed plugged into the wall. And so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a TV.
And then, you know, my mom, you know, she's upset. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not okay." And then she looks at me and she's like, "Oh, boy, we need to go to the ER." So it's like, "Okay, why?" And then all of a sudden I could kind of feel some blood coming down. It didn't feel that bad to me. It just was kind of shocking when it happened.
Yeah.
But I still had to go and get stitches and all that crap. But it wasn't that bad. Where I got cut, it was like it didn't even happen. It did, but it didn't. It just kind of sliced it, and that was it. So it wasn't like it was in a lot of pain or anything like that. So I didn't realize it. So she's upset. She takes me to the ER. I get stitched up. I'm in there. It didn't even seem like that long of the time. I thought it was kind of badass. Kind of looked like Frankenstein for a little while. I was like, this is cool.
Who doesn't want to look like Frankenstein?
You know what I mean? But then when I got home, my stepfather was, because he didn't see exactly how I did this.
Right.
He was so pissed off that I broke that television. He's like, "I'm not getting you another television." I'm like, "Well, you know, I only had the damn thing for a day."
That's why.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I had it for one day. I never thought I would get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-421-ROCK.
This got to prove his point about not buying a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the parental point of view is like, you've had it a day.
One day.
You went to the hospital, the TV's broken. No.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hello, Joe. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola!
Hola!
So about 2 years ago, I'm at a local brewery that will remain nameless, and I order a beer, and I turn around to take a drink, and all of a sudden it feels like a grenade explodes in my chest.
Okay.
So fast forward, wife takes me to the ER. Come to find out, I'm having a gallstone attack. Ooh. Fast forward 2 weeks later, they take my gallbladder out.
Where's your gallstone located?
Or gallbladder?
Gallbladder located.
Just right below your rib cage on the right-hand side.
Okay. But it still feels like you're having kind of like a heart attack?
And that's exactly what and that's what my wife said was chest pain. You want to talk about the ER. You walk in, fit male having chest pains, man, I'm telling you, they hook you up faster than you can snap your fingers.
And so, did the gallstones go into the arteries or something and go into the heart, or why do you feel it in your chest?
Because it goes into your esophagus, and basically what it does is it puts that fluid so you can digest your food. Well, I guess that one beer was enough to break free a gallstone, and it got stuck. Oh. And so all that little bit of beer fermenting and churning right there in my throat just started to expand in my chest.
What your gallbladder, does that control your bile in your stomach? Is that the function of that?
Yes.
Okay.
So when they remove it,
then do you have constant heartburn, or you know what I'm saying? Like, isn't that the thing that kind of protects your stomach lining from, you know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of. It's unfortunate, but I don't really get to enjoy decent beer anymore, so I just stay away from it.
So what else can't you not, without a gallbladder, what do you have to stay away from?
Spicy food, like pepperoni pizza, basically all the stuff I like to eat. Yeah, I can't eat Mexican food, spaghetti, anything that's spicy, I got to stay away from it.
Well, that sucks.
Spicy or acidic?
Yeah.
Or both?
Yeah, right.
How about a big tall glass of orange juice? Could you have orange juice?
Yeah, not so much.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. And are there any warning signs, or is it just how like you said it, where when it happens, you know?
No, it just all of a sudden it happens. You're standing there, and next thing you know, it's like I said, it's like a grenade goes off in your chest.
And how old are you when this happens?
40.
Golly. Okay, because I mean, like, even at that point, it's not that you don't feel like, it's not that you're indestructible. It's just that you don't feel that kind of level of thing is going to happen to you.
The problem with the human body, man, there's a few, when you're in school, they always talk about the miracle of the human body, and it's like, let's dial it back a little bit. Let's say it does some good, but there's room for improvement, right? So, like, when people's appendix bursts, it seems that universally there's no warning sign that something is going catastrophically wrong with it. It's just it burst one day, you're in exceptional pain, you go to the hospital and they tell you. The gallbladder, same thing. There's no particular warning signs that something awful is going to happen, just when it happens, you go down in flames. An aneurysm, like, there are certain things where you wish your body could give you a little warning, like, hey, go get your gallbladder checked, because in a month I'm going to send a stone into your heart and it's going to feel like you're dying. Like, we could work on that,
okay,
right?
Even if you have let's say you have a heart episode, like you have a slight heart attack one day, right? And maybe you had it yesterday, and you felt a pain in your chest and a numbness in your arm or something like that. But overall, you didn't feel like complete crap.
But it's still a warning.
But you
even if you ignore it.
But you go to the hospital the next day and they say, yeah, we believe you had a heart attack yesterday.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have to look at this and do all these things. And that's your heart. If your appendix rupture, and you can take the appendix out. You can't take your heart out.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're like, I take my heart out. They don't do that. But with your appendix, they always say, like, if you hadn't come in here within 15 minutes, you would have died. And I'm thinking to myself, this thing is not important. This thing can be removed from your body, and really, your life does not change.
Right.
So why, when this thing bursts, is it such a life and death situation?
I think it's full of crap.
Okay. Yeah, whatever's inside of it, you can't have.
It's like
once it gets outside the appendix, you're in trouble.
So it starts eating away at your stuff, I guess.
Whatever it is. I mean, it's poison or it's bacterial, but I mean, it's like a pinata full of toxins, right? Like, you don't need this pinata. You don't need to hit the pinata. But enough chance to hit the pinata, it's like, ooh, you broke open the pinata. We have to evacuate your house, burn the goddamn thing to the ground.
Just like they give you like a polio vaccination shot when you're younger, and maybe something for shingles or smallpox or whatever, or a kid gets circumcised when they're born. Why wouldn't you just think that one of the first standard procedures would be just to remove the appendix?
Or like when kids are little, like you get out your tonsils.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I got my wisdom teeth out, and the doctor was like, yeah, just take them all out. The dentist was like, just get them out now.
Okay, good.
So why isn't that kind of part of...
Like, should I just go in and say, take my appendix?
Just in case something happens.
It's elective surgery. Well, I'm just curious, like...
I mean, if you got all this stuff in your body that's not doing anything, my question is, why don't you just get rid of it if it's going to cause you a potential life and death situation?
There's got to be some reasonable importance to it that we just don't know about, because I cannot believe that after all these years, your body would continue to produce something that, at least from the outside looking in, only exists to potentially wipe you out, right? I'm sure the appendix served some purpose back in the day. Don't know what it was. But if it doesn't now, like, can we genetically make this go? Because the only thing it seems to do is potentially kill you, right? And doctors, like you said, man, if you'd waited 15 minutes, like, Doc, I didn't know anything was wrong until something went wrong.
Exactly.
Right. It's like a car accident. I don't know I was going to be in a car accident until I slammed into the back of the car.
I never would have gone there. I never thought I would get hurt or get sick doing blank 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Rayleigh. Welcome to the men's room.
Hi, guys.
Hola.
So my story is very embarrassing, and I wish I could say it was a long time ago, but it was fairly recent.
Excellent.
And yeah, I was like preparing to go to bed, and I went to turn off my gas fireplace, and I tripped over my dog's bed and landed on the brick portion of the fireplace light out and shattered my femur.
Oh, damn!
That's a pretty severe injury.
I was in the hospital for 10 days, and even the nurses were laughing.
Well, I mean,
did they even wait to laugh, or did they just walk in giggling?
They tried to hide it when they looked at my chart, like at shift changes, and even a couple of them said, seriously, a dog bed?
Did you think at some point you should have just lied? Like, you can't lie about the injury. They can look at the x-ray and say, hey, this is pretty severe. You shattered it. After you told 2 or 3 people and they kept looking at you or laughing at you, did you think, all right, I'm changing my story that I was hit by a goddamn car?
Or that, or I was, parachuting into,
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any children?
I do.
So how are you able to take care of them for 10 days? You know what I mean? Like what?
Well, my son's older. My son was 22 at the time.
Oh, okay.
So thank goodness he was home, because I couldn't even crawl to the phone. And usually he's not home, and he just happened to be there.
All right, let me ask you this. What was the look on your dog's face?
My dog actually went upstairs and went to bed.
I don't blame him. You know why? Because there's an empty bed up there, and you're in his.
Yeah, she's not using it.
You ever get that doctor shakedown when your kid get hurt? You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like you did it,
they have not hurt themselves in a way
that
I get that question. I mean, I know my parents did. This was in one day, and this is what they tell. Even though my parents also may have beaten the living hell out of me, but as the story goes, I was like 6 months old, 9 months old, I don't know, but I was still in a crib. I'm very little, and I'd bounce up and down in the crib. But I went over the top and then hit my head on the corner of a dresser that was in the room. They take me to the hospital. Said, no big deal. The doctor, I understand. But so they take me home, and apparently the same night I did the exact same thing again. So to go to the hospital a second night for the same quote-unquote injury, because the kid did the same thing again, my mom especially was like, I do not believe that the doctor believed us. I said, I don't know that I would have either. And she goes, just where the injury was on your head, and the fact that he couldn't believe that someone, as she likes to say, was so stupid. It's like she's still mad at me. I'm like, dude, I was like 6 months old. But but what my father did, I guess when they got home that night, my father said, look, dude, if this dumbass jumps out of this crib again, like, we're going to get arrested and we're going to lose both of our children. So he went, this is like 11:30, midnight or something like that. They're in an apartment. And as I understand, he went down to like their storeroom in the apartment building, got his drill, some other crap, and just reconfigured the crib. So basically the bottom of my crib was about even with the floor. So he said, that way when we put your dumb ass, because they can never tell the story without telling me how stupid I was. So when we put your dumb ass back in the crib, they said it looked like you were in prison. But that way you could keep jumping, but there was no fear that you'd fly out. And again, my father's very clear. I did not do this for your safety. He's like, you were just stupid. I did this because I don't want to go to jail.
My grandfather wouldn't, he'd shoo a fly out of the house before he'd kill it. He's just that guy. We go to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on a family vacation. We were there one day. Go down to the beach. My grandfather used to do this thing where he would pick me up by my wrists and my shoulders, and then he would spin me around. He called it the helicopter, right? So he would pick me up and just start spinning me around. Your feet are off the ground. He's just going around in a circle. I'm flying. It's fun.
It's fun.
Pop, pop. Both shoulders go out, right? And I mean, they're just dangling. I mean, like, and I'm like, ah! I'm still being spun around. I'm screaming and stuff. And so they take me to the ER. And apparently, the way, I don't remember this, but the way my grandfather tells it, like, they were just on him. Like, did you yank his arm?
Right.
Like, because I just remember my grandfather saying how much I screamed when they popped each of my shoulders back in.
Yeah.
And I was probably 5 or 4. I don't remember this happening. But, I mean, they had a cop on his ass. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was just like, wow, man. When he told the story later on, I was just like, you got to be kidding me. He's like, oh, no. They're going to haul my ass off. And then you showed him what you were doing. And then because they took you in a room and asked you.
Of course, do it
But
separate.
This is something that he'd done hundreds of times. You know what I mean?
You only need to mess up once.
Exactly. Never thought I'd get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-421-ROCK.
By the way, got an update on your appendix. The toxic
why we need it.
Pinata. All right, are you ready? Now, this makes sense. It makes sense, but it's still annoying. It says your appendix, it stores the good bugs that your gut needs. So when you get a stomach bug and you S yourself near to death, you lose those good bugs that you need. Your appendix replaces them.
So, but if you have your appendix removed, then
you probably have to change your diet, would be my guess. Avoid the bad bugs. Okay. Right? I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's got to serve
I'm just
some
happy
purpose.
it's doing something.
Right. That's all. I don't care if it's like, oh, actually, it's child. It makes an iPhone. Like, just tell me it does something useful.
Right, because up until right now, I thought it was just pointless.
Right. It's just there to explode inside of me and kill me. Now I know better.
It's an intruder.
That's where my good bugs are. Hello, John. Welcome to the men's room. Hello, John.
John.
Hello.
Hola.
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 So my real name is not John because this is still an open investigation. I'm retired now, but...
yeah, we heard John Doe, so I figured, okay, something he wants to keep to himself.
Yeah, it's been over 23 years in law enforcement and many years in homicide. So I never thought I'd get sick interviewing a prostitute. But this prostitute was hiding from us, and she finally showed up at a hospital. I showed up to the hospital, and this is before COVID, and all the doctors are wearing masks. And I thought they were operating on her. I said, I need to interview her. She says, you sure you want to wear a mask? I said, no, I'm good. I get within 10 feet of her, and I just start barfing because she had not taken a bath in like maybe a week or two, and men's fluids were all over her shirt, her hair, her body, and the aroma just knocked me out. I couldn't interview her. And I even got pissed off. I said, next time I interview, you better effing take a shower. And she said, yes, sir.
What is the closest smell that you can describe that to?
Oh, God, man. I mean, we're adults. You know, we've all had sex. You know how it smells, but...
Not for a week later.
Yeah.
It can't smell as bad as a hand sanitizer we have in the lobby of this building.
It's horrendous smelling. I can't describe it. I smell some horrendous odors, dead fish, dead bodies. Dead
okay, well, let me ask you this. So you say, look, we all know the smell of sex, and we do. So when you get a whiff of week-old sex, are you aware that it is week-old sex?
Yeah, man. You could tell.
God.
The thing with me, I was a rookie at the time, and my partner, he was a smoker. He says, you should take up smoking, because it doesn't affect you as much.
Yeah, because it kills your sense of smell.
Correct.
So wait, you were law enforcement for 23 years.
Correct.
And one of the things you remember best is how bad a certain prostitute smelled when you don't watch sex for a week or so.
Yes. Disgusting.
All right, let me ask you this, and these are roundabout numbers, because I don't know why anyone wants to be a cop. It seems like a stupid job, right? And I say that not because of the way TV does, because on TV you prevented a nuclear holocaust, even though you're a uniform cop. But in real life, you tackle naked people or tase naked people. How many naked people do you think you had to deal with in your 23 years?
Well, I started in corrections, man. I've probably seen over 4,000 naked anuses, mostly men.
Oh, God. Why specifically? Because you're doing a cavity search, or you have to?
Correct. When they're coming back from work or intake, I used to take intake. So they would come in. You have to dress them out and check their cavities.
Do you ever?
I was going to say, like, you ever go, hey, bro, you need to, you got a hemorrhoid back there. You ever give anybody a little medical advice?
What's funny? My very first day, I had never seen a naked man, I'm heterosexual, So they tell me, hey, you're going to get training on strip searching. I said, okay. He's all, come with me. And he just picks out some random guy. He's like, hey, get over here. And this guy, we're in R&R receiving. And he's all happy because he's getting a package. Packages are like with soups and candy and all kinds of things. He's all happy. And he tells the guy, hey, strip down. He said, no, man, I just here for the package. He said, strip down. And he stripped down, and my God, there's some filthy human beings that just do not know how to wipe.
Yeah. Looks like you got a used piece of gum stuck back there. Maybe you need to go see a doctor.
Do you ever get out of that? Do you get seniority where you're like, I don't do that anymore?
Yeah, after a certain amount of years, you get certain jobs, Obviously, corrections wasn't for me. I said, you know what? I need to get out of here. So I went to the streets, and I did most of my time on the streets.
No, I agree. I'd rather you be naked on the street and I can just throw you in a car, but I don't have to get too intimate.
Never thought that I would get hurt or sick doing blank. 206-421-ROCK.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.